Hey everyone, welcome to I Dream of Homestead. I'm Josephina and today I am going to take you on a walk of my little, but not for long, little garden. Right now everything is in the beginning stages of my first fall season. I've just gone through my first spring and summer season, and so now here's to the fall season. Things are going to be kind of like meh looking, but it's because they're just getting started. Okay, so here in the entrance, I know I've got these random T-posts that are just kind of hanging out here in the front, but it's because we originally had some deer netting around the fence to just kind of keep animals away, and my dog, Squirtle here, goobed it up and ran through it so hard, so fast, that, that she took it down. All right, so coming in through the entrance, we have some beds in need of amending, and I'll be getting that tomorrow and getting that going. So here I have a climbing red rose. This was for my godmother, which is why I've got some wings there. We lost her to COVID in January of this year. Red roses were her favorite, so I planted those there for her. I've got a humongous, few of these actually. This is a Roselle. I know a lot of countries use them, but in Mexico it's used to make a really popular drink called agua de Jamaica. And so here, where these flowers are getting ready to bloom, they will bloom for about a day, and then when they fall out, these pods are left behind, and in about a week or two after they've done that, then I will be harvesting them. So I have 3 of those. And here. And one in my front yard. I originally had one in every single bed in the garden until I quickly realized how massive these things get, and so there's been a lot of cutting these back to keep them tame. In this bed, I've got some things I need to clear out. Dead plant. And some yarrow I've got to clear out there. I've got some rosemary, and here I decided to just test out and see if I could possibly grow beans here. I didn't think I could. 1, the soil needs amending, and 2, it doesn't get a ton of sun until towards the end of the day, like right now. So it was just an experiment to see if I could possibly get it to grow there, and now I know it don't work unless I move these. In the kids' little garden bed, we've got some flowers that they picked with some of their best friends. We had a little co-op day and they learned about soil, and so planted some plants here. We had some dill growing there, but eventually summer took over and that went away. And some dill there in the middle that's been overshadowed by this massive basil. Guys, I did not know basil grew as fast as it does. And on this end of my smaller raised beds, I've got some arugula that I planted. You can see them coming up here. And the ones that I sowed here, they didn't come out. So I'm gonna thin these out and plant some more. And then go ahead and plant some spinach here. That way we have arugula and spinach, something that we absolutely love. This was my grandma's guava tree. She is really ill in hospice care and living with my mom. So I took over several of her plants, and this one was in some serious need of new soil and some love, and it has been sprouting branches. And then I just gave it some cosmos in here because I have an abundance of those. On the end raised bed over here, currently don't really have much going on. I have a little sunflower baby. Eventually here I'll have Spanish onion, and then on this end I'll have garlic planted here. I've got some oregano growing there. These cosmos were volunteer cosmos. I originally had them over there in the spring and the summer, and they reseeded and popped up over here. Some dahlias that I had from the spring, I had cut them down and they came right back. And then here I've got some rattlesnake pole beans. Planted these about 2-ish weeks ago, and they have been growing. And a sunflower here that I really need to take down. I was letting it dry out so that I could collect the seeds for it. So that's gonna get taken down. And then on this bed, more volunteer cosmos. And I've got more rattlesnake pole beans growing here. Cosmos. These things grow wild, you guys. They do not stop. I cut them out and I took them completely out of the bed, and they just reseed so easily that they just keep coming back and coming back no matter what I do. As you can see, look at all these little babies. Babies everywhere. They're out of control. So, I'll be pulling out even more of those and pulling out these volunteer zinnias, because I used to have zinnias on the end of this bed and they popped up there. And I also have a volunteer ground cherry from ground cherries I had in the spring and summer. I left it there because I still had some other things growing in here up until a few weeks ago, and this was my trap crop, thankfully. As you can see, it was getting eaten up, and thanks to that being there, the other plants that I used to have here were being left alone. So eventually, probably tomorrow, I'll be taking those out and seriously taking down some of these cosmos again, because I know they're just going to come right back. And in their place, I'll have some garlic here and red onion all along this. Here in this bed, I have Yukon gold potatoes. These were actually potatoes that were in my pantry. I decided to just let them do their thing, and if they got some eyes, I would plant them. And holy cow, did they work. So on this side, the ones that were planted here, they definitely had really big eyes already grown on them. And they have done so well. On this side, these had very small, tiny eyes, and so they started sprouting slower than these did. And honestly, I'm totally okay with that, because then I can just kind of stagger when I get my potatoes. If these happen to not come out, though, I think there are like two here and one here, and if those don't sprout, then I will likely just kind of maybe plant some radishes and stuff, carrots, maybe fill it in there. I've got some sunflower babies. I gotta thin one out, but as you can see, sunflower is doing its job of being a trap crop. And then over here I have supposed to be a mammoth sunflower. We'll see if it actually does get mammoth or not. And some lilies from spring. Guys, the to-do list never stops. Here I have a little sunflower baby and some more sunflower babies. And here I've got some little kale babies. I've got 3. One of them didn't happen over there. That's okay. We'll see if 3 ends up being enough. So here I plan on planting some romaine lettuce, maybe some butter crunch lettuce seeds that I have, and then in between everything I'm gonna start filling in some radishes. Same with over here. I've got it's so hard to tell, guys, but they're there. They're little babies. I've got some beets. Can't even say the word right. I've got some beets. This one got attacked. Something ate one of its leaves. They're a little difficult to see, but they are there. I swear, guys, they're there. I'm probably gonna go back in and add some more beets because beets grow so fast, so well. I grew them in the spring and they did fantastic. They grow, again, like I said, so fast. So I'm not worried about the ones that didn't pop up for me because I know I can just come in and get some more in the fall. These dahlias are from the spring. Same with those. I cut them down and they just came right back. And God, that is such a beautiful color. We got a dwarf sunflower growing there. And here is lemon thyme. Here I've got some rattlesnake pole beans. And I have been eating some of them. For the rest, I am going to leave them so that I can have some dry beans for the fall. Here I've got some cilantro that we planted in the spring. I let it go to seed in the fall and it dropped all of its seeds, and since then, when the weather started cooling down, it started sprouting right back up. And then this yarrow that I think I'm gonna have to either trim it down or take it out. Maybe you guys can tell me, does this do good in the winter? I am in zone 8B. Our last frost date is about like November 9th-ish, somewhere around there. There's some sunflower babies, and then we have some broccoli rabe, several broccoli rabe. And then here we've got some more rattlesnake pole beans. We have gotten so much rain, and this past week it finally started to settle down. This is absolutely my favorite, guys. I love so much the way these vines just trail and the way the beans just dangle and the way they sound as the wind pushes through them. It is the most relaxing, beautiful thing. I am going to eventually buy myself a hammock, I swear, guys. I'm constantly saying it. But I will buy a hammock and a hammock stand so I can just plop it here and sit under this in the evenings or in the morning with some coffee and enjoy it. It's hard to tell, but here there are lots of little baby carrot seedlings. They're just so tiny that it's really difficult to tell, but they're there, I promise. Some volunteer zinnias. So that's it for this garden for now. My plan is in the winter to buy probably another 5 of these metal raised beds. I got them from Northern Tool. It was the most affordable way for me to get started on raised beds because wood has gotten so expensive. Lumber is just, it's just not possible for me to be able to build raised beds right now out of them. So these were a great affordable option. I love them so far. This is the second season I'm growing in them, so I'll let you know how it goes after that. But I do plan on getting at least 5 more, if not more, and just doing in another row here behind these. And I'm going to continue to expand the garden over the seasons. So that's the garden for now. I know it doesn't look like much, but I know that soon enough it'll be fluffy. Not as fluffy as the spring and the summer garden were, but it'll definitely be filled out. And eventually you'll start seeing in the videos that more and more beds start to come up and the garden gets bigger and the chickens come and the goats come. Don't tell my husband. And eventually my little pet pig that I've been dreaming of, and you guys are gonna get to see everything as it unfolds. And I am so thankful that you're here to walk with me and to see the journey unfold. And remember, you've got this. You can do this. All you have to do is make that move. See you soon.